Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to race number 2 of the second season of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series powered by the WRA. You notice the grid looks a little different than what we had from pole day qualifying yesterday. Well, let's explain. Vanco Seaman Sean Ard, who was supposed to be row 2, actually got moved up to the front row, and two drivers that were on the front row ended up having their qualifying time disallowed after both Alexander Rowe and Jesse Art, which we found out had an unfair advantage, which they had engine ratings for some apparent reason on their car following post qualifying inspection. That meant their times got disallowed. Both drivers will not race today. And as a result, Vanco Seaman will start on the pole. Sean Art will start alongside. Senor Sean fourth in the points. Vanco Seaman ninth in the points. So I bet not the way Vanco Seaman wanted to win the pole that way, in my honest opinion, but it really sucks. Daniel Gitteroth, Samantha Granger will now be row number 2. Daniel Gitteroth is making his Winston Cup debut. He failed to qualify last week at Coca-Cola, so this will be his first start of the year. Samantha Granger, on the other hand, 23rd at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. You're thinking, well, if the 0809 got disqualified, who got moved to the show? As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, these two right here, Michael Brown, Jacob Foster, got a what I call a get out of jail free card and make the show. For Michael Brown, who finished 30th, I bet you he'll take advantage. And Jacob Foster, I bet this was not the way he wanted to make his debut. But the rules are the rules, and that's the way we have to go in this series. Oh, hold on. All right, let's try that again. Sean's car was having problems getting off the grid. There we go. Now these cars are rolling off the grid. So there's Michael Brown, Jacob Foster, because neither of them set a qualifying time. Both of them will start at the rear of the field for today's race. Chloe Ericsson, who failed to qualify, was your points leader coming in this race. 4 points over Maddie Crenshaw. Hannah Bluejay, third in the standings. Sean Art, fourth. Mia Watts is fifth. Timmy Turner, Betty Johnson, Dylan Ibrahimi, he failed to qualify as I accidentally knocked my phone over and it took it off the charger for some reason. He is 8th. There we go, charger. Vanco Seaman 9th, and 10th is Michael Andersen. Confirmation, yeah, 50 did not make the show this week. As here we come, green flag is in the air. The Subway 400 is underway. I can tell you this is going to have some major implications into the points heading into next week at Las Vegas. Gitteroth now in second place. Daniel Gitteroth took part in yesterday's Busch Series race. Timmy Turner on the inside. Everybody did take the start, so that's good news there. As Seaman is trying to drive away. We're on times 1 now, so they can go 99 laps on a tank of fuel, but tires will be the story of the day. Senor Sean dropping back. Of course, we're still in the early stages. Of course, it is a hot, slick racetrack. We've had it all weekend long. Had a lot of cautions we had 3 cautions in yesterday's Busch Series race. I believe we had 2 in the Craftsman Truck Series race on Friday. Sean's gone almost outside the top 10. There's Nathan Ormond in the 5. Nathan Ormond fortunate that Michael Brown made the show this week. Of course, his car did pass post-qualifying inspection. That's why they make sure all of the rides after, including the Go hallmarks, they do post-qualifying inspection to make sure everybody does not have an unfair advantage. As there's Liliana Beta in the combo colors this week. Liliana Beta, the car that she drove last week in the Busch Series, won yesterday with Annie Winters. As Vanko Seaman leads the race, let's check the back of the field. Ashlyn Wright took part in yesterday's Busch Series race back here at the Ruhr field, but just learning. That's all she's doing. That's the Fright colors on Ponzo Albanese' Chevrolet. Lucy Myers in the same paint scheme. Jay Green will have a new paint scheme next week. Best Buy colors for Tatum Wright on her Chevrolet. There's Michael Brown. Fortunate enough, he made the show this week. Jacob Foster taking advantage of his golden opportunity to make his debut in the Winston Cup Series. I know he did not want to make the Winston Cup race with two drivers that failed post-qualifying inspection, but, the rules are the rules, and, you hate that for, Jesse and Alexander. Instead of them getting points on the board, well, Jesse not getting points on the board because Jesse's a Busch driver, so doesn't matter to Jesse, but for the 08, instead of getting points on the board as Margaret Jacobs hits the wall, he gets a goose egg on the board. That's Max Anderson, who went on the apron trying to avoid the aid. Of course, he lost a little bit of ground, but we are still green flag racing. Kevin Joseph running the Subway colors on his Ford. J TwoTwo in the black and silver 29. There's Luke Knight, Jerry Harvick. Betty Barrett in the Swans Dodge. She'll be in the Red Baron colors next week. Josephine Bouvier will be in the new scheme next week. Forgot to mention Nathan Ormond's driving the CarQuest colors on his Chevrolet. Senor Sean running the Jim Beam colors this week. There's Hannah Bluejay. Forgot to mention, as I'm recording this, today is Courtney Lynn's birthday, as Jessica Miller is going to take the lead from Vanko Seaman, so our first lead change of the day. So happy birthday to Courtney Lynn. Would like to get a nice little early birthday gift as I'm recording this. Drake Robertson. Winston Cup rookie. Finished in the, as I'm looking for the 43, finished in 40th last week at Coca-Cola. Those bonus points are really going to be good for him. Ben Tennyson. Currently in the 24th at Coca-Cola, running third here in the early stages of this race. Right now, Vanko Seaman comes to this race ninth in points. Remember, two drivers inside the top 10 did not make the show. Remember, we're going by last season's points. So technically, the points leader is Maddie Crenshaw. The gal that's trying to run her down trying to run Maddie Crenshaw down once they pass Chloe Ericsson for the points lead, Hannah Bluejay running at 10th. So right now, she would be your points leader going into next week's race at Las Vegas. Ashlyn Wright running in 42nd, but remember, just trying to learn. She's never raced a Winston Cup car here at the Rock. Scored a top 10 in our Busch race yesterday. Didn't have a good run in the truck race on Friday. like the Wright sisters not having a good car in the short run. Maybe they'll get better as this long run goes along. 100 to go here at the Rock. Courtney Lynn did not race last week at Coca-Cola due to being under the weather. Of course, she's feeling a lot better. She tested negative for COVID-19. So it must have been like allergies bugging her, but that's the thing. Of course, by the way, I want to point this out. I am feeling a lot better as of this recording. I've just gotten over my allergy issues, so you can definitely say that was a freak accident. Lead change. Drake Robertson had the lead. Ben Tennyson got his bonus point for leading a lap. A lot calmer start for the Winston Cuppers versus the drivers in the Busch and Truck Series we had, because they had an early caution, which is their first caution came very early in this race. So far, we are about to complete 22 laps, and we're still green, so wonder if these drivers learn to be a little bit more patient. 118 laps is a long race, folks, so I'm guessing patience is the key. And I think the Winston Cup officials told these drivers, let's be patient. 118 laps is a long race here, folks. So I think patience needs to be in the common sense rule. And so far, they're being way, way patient. Binko Seaman or Polson are in third. Jessica Miller in fourth. Ashley Horton in fifth. Riley Anderson, Hannah Bluejay, Daniel Gitteroth, Nathan Ormond just got around Timmy Turner. That is for the 10th position. Liliana Beta is 11th. Jerry Harvick is 12th. And 13th is Josephine Bouvier. We mentioned Zachary Taylor won the Coca-Cola race last season. Who is the or actually I'll have to look back. Hold on. Let me actually go look back before I jump the gun. Yeah, it was Zachary Taylor. Okay, I was right. Who won this race one season ago, you're asking? Of course, this race was the 16th race of the year. I muted my phone so that way I didn't. It is Ben Ericsson who is the defending winner of this race. Of course, he is in this field. Of course, Ben Ericsson won this race last season. Unfortunately, he was not high enough in points to get his win count for a playoff berth. So, and of course, Ben Ericsson, should mention this now, Ben Ericsson is locked in the All-Star race as a result. Because I remember Annie Crenshaw was a two-time winner last season. And of course, that's what got Annie Crenshaw in the chase for the championship, was the fact that she was a two-time winner, won at two different racetracks. course, I will be updating the All-Star race roster to find out who are the drivers locked in the All-Star race. Of course, Zachary Taylor will not be in the All-Star race this season, despite the fact he went to victory lane during the playoffs last season. So his spot will be null and void. Nathan Ormond's really got a fast race car. Looks like the long run car is really good for that number 5 machine. Remember, that's the right. Courtney Lynn went to victory lane last season. But remember, Courtney was not high enough to have that victory count for a playoff berth. Of course, Courtney Lynn running a limited schedule in the Winston Cup Series because she's running for the Busch Series Championship. There we go. Currently on lap number 34 of 118. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Just a quick reminder for anyone that is new to this channel. If you enjoyed the content like these NR races I'm doing every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe because it would mean a lot. And also that way you don't miss the next race. You can also make sure to click the notification bell. And if you want to join the World Racing Association Discord, I will have the link down in the description below. I'll make sure to have it for every qualifying and race session for the Busch Trucks and Winston Cup Series here in this second season. There's still plenty of rides to sign up for. If you don't have a ride, make sure to join the Discord. The link will be in the description below, as I said. It's Ben Tennyson, still your race leader. Of course, Tennyson is locked into the All-Star race due to a win last season at the track we're going to be having the All-Star race, Daytona. I think these drivers are probably going to need tires than they are going to need fuel. Because remember, 99 laps is how far they can go on a fuel run. I think everybody's just minding their P's and Q's. There's our winner last season, Ben Ericsson, the Target Dodge. Of course, he doesn't have the rookie stripes on his car like he did in Season 1. Mia Watson, the 45. Remember, after this race, we are almost halfway through using last season's points, the top 35 in last season's points, as you look at Maddie Crenshaw running the U.S. Air Force colors on her Ford. Remember, she technically is the points leader because, remember, the current points leader, Chloe Erickson, failed to qualify for this race. I learned a lot, when I did 118 laps in another NR series I'm in. You just got to manage your tires. This track is going to eat up tires like crazy. Of course, the sun is out. It's hot and slick out there. And these cars are not going to handle really well in a hot, slick racetrack. So these drivers have really got their work cut out to make sure that they just focus on, what the car is doing. We're already 40-something laps into a green flag run to start this race. And remember, this race last season was, if I recall correctly, was 40 laps. This is about 78 more laps this season than they ran last season, those that took part in last season. So, Cody Smart's a lap down. Oh, looks like unscheduled pit stop, I assume. Wonder if he's got some damage to the Mobile One Dodge. That's way too early. Way too early. Not even close. Yeah, it looked like he had a tire going down. Had a tire going down going in the corner. Oh, please be careful, Cody. Please be careful, Cody. Okay, there we go. And you can tell the difference between 40-something-year-old tires and Cody Smart. So Cody made an unscheduled pit stop. So Cody Smart is one lap down as a result. Tough break for Cody. And Cody came into. Let me see where Cody finished at Coca-Cola. 25th. Boy, he did not need this. Cody Smart did not absolutely need this poor finish. Because if he's outside the top 35 after race number 5, he's going to have to qualify his way into every race going forward. Wonder if he picked up a puncture that caused him to come to pit road, because that's way too early for him to make a pit stop. So Cody Smart, yeah, he's 2 laps down, so definitely an unscheduled pit stop, as he made it on lap number 42 of this race. And we're nearing 50 laps. We're nearing halfway through a fuel run. Let me do the calculations in my head. So Cody can make it the rest of the way. Oh, caution! And that was not what Cody Smart wanted to see. That was not what Cody wanted. Oh, Ponzo Albanese, Betty Johnson, look out, look out, look out. Caution is out. Samantha Granger involved. That was not what Cody Smart wanted to see. Now he's been trapped a lap down as a result. Oh. So damage to Betty Johnson. Cody's going to have to stay out because he doesn't have a choice. So caution is out on lap number 51 of this, or number 50. While they're making pit stops, let's jump back and look at a replay to find out what brought out our first caution of the day here at The Rock. That was definitely the caution that Cody Smart did not want to see. As let's see what happened here. Yeah, it looked like Granger got off the throttle, but Kevin Joseph could have backed off of it and unfortunately just spun the Jack Daniels Chevrolet into the wall. That was kind of a misjudgment on Kevin Joseph. I tell you what, E Aurora did a good job not hitting her teammate. But I was getting ready to say that could have been avoided. You know, Kevin could have gotten out of the throttle a little bit and let the 07 save it. Instead, the 07 got spun into the wall. 23rd at Coca-Cola last week. But then what happened to Betty Johnson? Because this is what brought out the yellow. Oh. Yeah, I think Betty Johnson got the brain fart of the year and just rammed into Ponzo Albanese. Just brake check Ponzo Albanese. I don't know what that was really all about. Tatum Wright did a good job missing this incident, but that's called hello, Betty Johnson. You're supposed to speed up, not slow down and brake check your teammate, which, by the way, those two are teammates in World NOS Racing. So I can't imagine Luke Knight's going to be happy about this. So the caution's out for the first time today. Let's get to the restart here at The Rock. Coming back to green on lap number 53 of 118. Ben Tennyson's the leader. Vanco Seaman second. Jessica Miller third. Drake Robertson fourth. Hannah Bluejay in fifth. Ashley Horton sixth. Jerry Harvick is seventh, as Cody Smart is coming up here to join the leaders. Timmy Turner eighth. Luke Knight ninth. And Riley Anderson will complete the top 10. This guy's got to be feeling sick to his stomach right now because he was hoping this sucker would stay green. Unfortunately, that caution flag really came back to haunt Cody Smart as a result. Surprisingly, Ponzo Albanese is the only driver out of the race as he will finish in the 42nd position. It is not the way the defending series champion went at 37th at Coca-Cola. And remember, Ponzo Albanese, if he falls out of the top 35, he has the champion's provisional that would save him. And that's going to also affect drivers that would try to have to make the show every week after race number 5. Green flag back in the air here at the Rock. As we have 41 drivers on track, 39 now on the lead lap as Cody Smart trying to get back to just being one lap down. So that caution really came back to haunt Cody Smart. So that caution was very untimely for the driver out of Penske Racing. As Vinko Seaman's going to take the race lead. So instead of Cody Smart getting a caution and taking advantage, he's going to be at worst 40th. Unless more drivers ahead of him, that more drivers run into trouble later today. Boy, that caution was very untimely. Now he's going back 2 laps down. So, Cody is not pleased about this. How about Jacob Foster in his debut in the Winston Cup Series? Ran the Busch race yesterday, currently running in 7th. Of course, Jacob Foster originally failed to qualify, but because the 2 drivers of Jesse Art and Alexander Rowe failed post-qualifying inspection, Jacob Foster has really taken advantage of the misfortunes of the 08 and the 09 out of Braun Racing and James Finch Racing, respectively. So Jacob Foster definitely capitalizing on his opportunity, and I think the same you can see about Michael Brown. Where is he running 37th? Running 37th right now. Not really taking advantage, but at least he made the show. He's now 2 for 2 in making the shows. I mean, that's good for team owner Nathan Ormond. Just at the halfway point of this race, as we're about to cross 59 laps complete, 59 laps to go here at the Rock. Everybody can make it now the rest of the way on fuel and tire. Well, tires is going to be the question. Betty Johnson's definitely going to lose a spot to Cody Smart. Because remember, Betty Johnson's got rear end damage on her cat car, whereas Cody Smart has no damage on his car, but that caution was untimely. And speaking of caution, we just had our second caution of the day. Speaking of cautions, Brad Lewis involved. Not sure if Max Anderson got some damage or not. Ashlyn Wright is involved. Oh, no. Hannah Bluejay's involved. That's a tough break. Let's see. Doesn't look like the leaders are coming to pit road. As the caution's out for the second time today, we're just past the halfway point. Let's jump back and look at a replay to find out what happened to Ashlyn Wright and company as we're halfway through the Subway 400. Well, Ashlyn Wright started off the weekend pretty poorly in the points races for trucks. Going to end with another disappointment. Looks like something let go on the Brian's Meat Chevrolet, which is a bit of a shame. She was running 27th at the time, and unfortunately the 17 got involved. That would be Brad Lewis. Mia Watts got a piece of it. Hannah Bluejay was in the wall. I think Max Anderson got a small piece of it. Timmy Turner did a good job missing it. So That's a shame for Ashlyn Wright. Made the show, unfortunately, doesn't get much to show for it. Yep, Mia Watts got some damage on the rear end of the Georgia Pacific Dodge, and Hannah Bluejay had a good run last week at Coca-Cola. Not going to be a good run today. It got a hood buckle on the Lowe's Chevrolet. Caution's out for the second time today. Let's get to the restart here at The Rock. Well, for Cody Smart, his objective is to make sure more drivers have troubles. So far, so good for the driver of the 12. Out of the race, Brad Lewis, Ashlyn Wright. Not really sure what let go on the double zeros, so that is a tough break for Ashlyn Wright. Had a poor race in the truck race. Her best race was yesterday in the Busch race, a top 10. Not going to be a top 10 today. Out of the race, whatever the issue was. And those two joined Ponzo Alvarez back behind the wall and out of the race. Banco Seaman, Jessica Miller, Jerry Harvick, Luke Knight, Riley Anderson, your top 5. Jacob Foster, Drake Robertson, Ben Tennyson, Michael Anderson. And look who is in 10th. Mr. Where did he come from? Jacob TwoTwo in the top 10. Yes, Jacob TwoTwo has the Kevin Harvick version in the NR deal of Mr. Where did he come from? That's a good nickname for the Montreal drivers. We're back to green. Cody Smart, still up to speed, wants to get one of his laps back as he's done so, but that's also going to allow Jessica Miller to take the lead as a result. I should also mention Chloe Ericsson, despite the DNQ, has also added her name as my Chargers being stupid for some reason. I was going to say Chloe Ericsson has added her name into the All-Star race with that win at Coca-Cola this season. And remember, for anyone that's wondering, the only series that has an All-Star race is the Winston Cup Series. Jerry Harvick, there's Luke Knight, Riley Anderson. Cody Smart is back to 2 laps down. So Cody Smart, who's been trying to get his lap back, unsuccessful that time. As pretty soon we're going to be on that number, that dreadful number that's going to make me say drat. As Jerry Harvick is going to go the race lead. Jerry Harvick was a 2-time winner last season at Hillside and Papyrus. We'll be going to those tracks later in the year. Of course, those races took part in the second half of the regular season. To be locked in the All-Star race, which I should mention is in the yellows out for the 3rd time today. Another wreck on the front straightaway. Monica Towns is the reason for the yellow. Possibly Mia Watson, the 45. Don't know that for sure. Samantha Granger, I don't know if she was collected again. I think it's only Monica Towns because she's got damage to her car. Now this gets an interesting... Okay, yeah, it looks like they're coming to pit road. I was about to get ready to say, this gets interesting. They have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. Do they have enough tires? Well, that answered that question in a heartbeat. The yellow's out for the 3rd time today while these drivers are making pit stops, so that way they're good on tires and fuel. Let's go back and take a look and find out what happened to Monica Towns. Here's what happened to the former Buffalo Wild Wings Series champion. It's like she got loose coming off of turn number 4. Got up in no man's land, slaps the wall. The car she's going to bounce off is Margaret Jacobs. So there's going to be some right side damage on the Bud Chevrolet. And also going to make contact with the outside retaining wall. And so far, the only car that goes around is the 19. Margaret Jacobs, 31st at Coca-Cola. Monica Towns, 34. So both of those ladies did not need something like this to happen. But the good news is they're going to continue on. And we're going to head back to the restart here at The Rock. Before we head back to the green, I noticed there was some damage on the 10 of Ashley Horton. And yeah, Ben Erickson, what on earth was that all about? And wow, oh my god, the 10 goes upside down. Ashley Horton is upside down. Swept up Nathan Ormond. Yeah. Yeah. Right rear hooking Ormy was a good idea there, Ben. What on earth were you thinking there, son? Don't think the officials are going to be happy about this, and I don't think Luke Knight's going to be happy with Ben Erickson, because that's, oh, by the way, another World NOS Racing driver that got taken out in this through no fault of her own, so I don't know what the hell Ben Erickson was thinking, and I've just been told Ben Erickson to the big red truck after the race, and rightfully so, because that was kind of stupid on the defending winner of this race 1 season ago. Now let's head back to the restart. As H Bluejay apparently is the race leader, looks like she did not come to pit road. She's got no hood on her car, so she'll be the leader. Jerry Harvick is second. Luke Knight is third. Riley Anderson fourth. J TwoTwo fifth. 6 is Jacob Foster, so the Jacob and Jacob show. Jessica Miller seventh. Ben Tennyson eighth. Liliana Bates at ninth. And Courtney Lynn quietly having a good run in the 10th position. Nobody out of the race after that incident. Ashley Horton is now 1 lap down. I bet she showed her displeasure to the driver of the 41, and something is up with Annie Thomas, we're being told. As apparently she had a mechanical problem or something. Or did her car stall? Because apparently she came to pit. Oh, the engine let go. That would be why. Yep, gearbox let go as we're back to green here at the Rock. That's too bad. Annie Thomas was running in the top 10 before we were coming back to the green, so definitely not the finish she's going to have. That's a tough break for a former champion on this channel. Back in 2015, 26 at Coca-Cola. So Annie Thomas absolutely did not need this. And Ashley Horton has also been invited to the big red truck after the race. And Cody Smart did get one of his lap specs, by the way. So now he's only one. Well, actually, I take that back. He's not 1 lap down. Well, Cody's been trying to get back to being 1 lap down. It hasn't worked for Cody. Of course, he's gaining positions, which is more points right now. So Annie Thomas's day is done, so that's a tough break for them. Ashlyn Wright, Ponzo Albanese, and Brad Lewis were all checked and released from the medical center. But you got to give Ashlyn Wright a lot of credit for her to make the race in 2 consecutive races at 2 difficult tracks. So, I can't say anything negative about the 00. For her to get that car in the show both races, that's pretty damn good. It's just a shame that she's not going to back it up with a good result, so Jerry Harvick looking for his 3rd career win in the Winston Cup Series and first on the season. As he's doing his best to hold off Luke Knight, who, by the way, is in 2nd, and the rookie Jacob Foster running in 3rd. Good run for the 91 part-time ride. Did not make the race at Coca-Cola last week. Comes into this race 43rd in the points of the drivers who have yet to score points. So Jacob Foster will score points. in that number 91 machine. If you just joined us, we've had 3 cautions so far. Ever since we got to lap number 50, we went 50 laps clean and green, and now we've had 3 cautions since we gotten past since lap 50. So 50 clean green flag laps, we've had 3 cautions since. Surprisingly, only 4 cars out of the race. 3 due to crash damage. The only one not due to crash damage is Annie Thomas. It was a mechanical failure that sadly took the former Munster Energy champion of 2015 out of the race. As Luke Knight, he's going to catch Ben Ericsson. That, by the way, those 2 are teammates. Not just at World NOS Racing, but Chip Ganassi Racing. Luke Knight, the 2022 Oreo Cup Series champion. Of course, the Oreo Cup Series not coming back this season. I wonder how Ben Erickson is going to let Luke Knight go. Well, there's your answer right there. A lot of damage to the right front fender of the Target Dodge. Bet you Nathan Ormond's not going to be happy with the 41, and neither is this guy, Ashley Horton, who had really no business of getting involved in a wreck, and that's through no fault of her own. And looks like Ormy's okay. He's running in 19th. I can't believe Ormy's, despite the damage on his car, he's still in the top 20 as a result. I'm really shocked that it didn't do a lot of damage to that 5. I wonder if Courtney Lynn got on the radio and tell Ormy to please calm down. I don't want you to give me a panic attack. Let me see if Luke Knight did win a race last season. I don't think he did, but I'll double check to be sure. Of course, Luke Knight running the same car he drove last season. Well, Luke Knight last season in the 40 finished that season 19th in the points. 4 top 5s, 12 top 10s, 7 lap sled. Did not, however, find victory lane. So he is on a 38 race winless streak. So he's never won in the Winston Cup Series before. So in his 38th career Winston Cup start, can he go to victory lane for the first time in his Winston Cup career? And this would punch his ticket in the All-Star race. Ashley Horton, the next car to go a lap down. Cody Smart has not even passed all those damaged cars. So he might have something else that's wrong on that number 12 machine. Well, there he is. So far, 4 of the 42 starters as of now will fail the finish. There's Ashley Horton. Remember, that's your teammate right behind you there, Ash. I think Ashley Horton's going to let Luke Knight go. Trying to be a good lady and let Luke Knight go. Remember, Luke Knight is teammates with Ashley Horton at World NOS Racing. So Ashley Horton realized Luke Knight's coming, and she said, "Luke, don't get mad at me. I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to just let you go. And Luke says, "Thank you very much." How about Michael Brown running in the top 10 in the 44? Had to start the rear of the field because of the fact that, well, one, he got moved into the show because of two drivers failing post qualifying inspection. He and Jacob Foster started on the back row. They're in the top 10. Michael's in ninth or in 10th, and Jacob Foster is ninth. I know, before any of you open your mouth and say nice job, Danny, I'm recording this race at 2:30 in the morning. Forgive me. So forgive me if I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning and I've only had 5 hours of sleep. And I had less than 5. But still, you get the picture. Riley Anderson running in second. Another driver who had a rough year in the Winston Cup Series last season, trying to, as my charger is being dumb for some reason. Sorry about that. Riley finished 16th at Coca-Cola, so it's looking likely she's going to finish in the if if things if this stands could finish in the um can make the top 10 is what I was trying to say. As Ben Erickson realized Luke Knight was coming. As we'll show you the damage on the 41. Look at the right front fender. It is all bent up on the 41 machine. On an aerodynamic track like this, well, if that was at Las Vegas, it would hurt that car really badly. By the way, Cody Smart's finally passing cars. He's up to the all-important position of 37th. As Luke Knight's already lapped Ben Erickson. Here's another World NOS Racing car. Betty Johnson going to go another lap down. It looks like Betty Johnson is going to be going to be a great teammate to Luke Knight. Whereas Betty Johnson not having a good day, so she just gave Luke Knight plenty of room. I bet Luke Knight appreciated Betty Johnson moving out of the way. Betty being being a kind back marker. Good run for Liliana Beta, running in 4th. Liliana Beta, another driver, didn't have a good run last week, having a good run this week. So I bet you Liliana Beta is just trying to redeem herself, believe it or not. Want to remind everybody this copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast or retransmitted or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association is prohibited. World Racing Association, the Blue Hedgehog TV, want to thank you fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. There's our two highest rookie drivers, Robertson and Beta, both drivers in the Busch Series from last season. Both are Winston Cup rookies this season. Drake Robertson and Liliana Beta, both drivers who didn't have good results last week. You can say the same for our leader, Luke Knight. He finished 41st at Coca-Cola, so this is a complete turnaround for the Coors Light Dodge, and this will definitely get Luke Knight out of the cellar of the points table. Todd Montgomery, who finished dead last at Coca-Cola, 24th, so not the result he wanted. And no, the 0-1's out of the race. Ben Tennyson, who led a good part of this race, has become the fifth driver now out of the race. Looks like a mechanical failure has taken him out, so that's another free position for Cody Smart. So this will put Cody in 34th. So Ben Tennyson's day is done. He will join Andy Thomas, Brad Lewis, Ashlyn Wright, Ponzo Albanus back behind the wall now the race. And I should go ahead and say this now. I don't know what Ormy said to Michael Brown before this race. Apparently, someone lit a fire on Michael Brown, and apparently whatever Ormy said to him, that I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but somebody lit a fire in Michael Brown, and he's probably going to be the hard charger. 41st, and he's running in the top 10 with 10 to go. That's a well of a run. I bet team owner Nathan Ormond's going to be pleased about that. So I don't know what was said by Nathan Ormond to Michael Brown, but apparently somebody lit a fire in Michael Brown. And Michael Brown was extra motivated today for some apparent reason. Not trying to take jokes aside. A good run for Jacob Foster. As I said, both drivers started on the back row with no qualifying laps. Two drivers that were going to go home, missing the show. They take advantage of the two drivers that failed post-qualifying inspection and finished in the top, and they're running in the top 10. Also, a shout out to Ashley Reynolds. Didn't talk much about that 88, as well as Elena Aurora, who's cracked her way in the top 10. Good run for the Spaniard driver. Elena Aurora has been very quiet. Hadn't talked much about her in this race. And she finished 12th at Coca-Cola, so this could put her in the top 10 of the points. Jessica Miller, 21st. This is going to put her in the top 20 as things stand. And for the 38, 43, and the 40, who are right near the bottom of the points table, well-needed runs for those drivers. And also a well-needed run for Betty Barrett running in the 18th position. I know I haven't talked much about Barrett, but, well-needed runs have been a hard thing in the past for those drivers. Timmy Turner's having a quiet run. Oh, the Calamity Cousins from 2012, oh, by the way, running 9th and 10th. I know somebody's going to be like, wait, Boyles, the Calamity Cousins between Turner and TwoTwo? Yeah, those two have been what they used to be, the Calamity Cousins. The two haven't given each other any grief since then, so I think that's a good thing. Just remember Brady Columbus needs to stay away from Leo Einstein, just an FYI. Speaking of Brady Columbus, we'll be seeing her next week at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, we have a lot of drivers from the Monster Energy Series back in 2016 that are coming back. We talked about Rosalinda Masterson made her return. Brady Columbus is about to make her return. And you can also throw another name in the list that some of you people in 2016 as looks like Ben Erickson not being nice to Luke Knight. Well, that's allowing Drake Robertson to catch up. And Luke Knight had to shake his fist at his teammate like that. Yeah, I bet you there's not going to be some nice words at the World NOS Racing Camp Monday morning. I hate to be the fly on the wall on the ride home for them. And the caution is out. That is going to end. Senor Monica Towns, Mia what? Oh no, they're wrecking. No. Drake Robertson got a piece of it. Oh no, the leader. The leader's involved. Luke Knight. Samantha Granger, you gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. And Luke Knight might be done. Oh my God. Now the question is, who's going to win this race? Betty Johnson and Luke Knight is out. From the race lead. Senor Sean. It looks like Betty Barrett might win this race. You have got to be kidding me. That's a tough break for Luke Knight. We're going to take the white flag. We're going to let this race finish under the yellow, unfortunately. Our fourth caution of the race, but Drake Robertson is out. Ponzo Albanese. Wow, there's a lot of drivers out of the race. Just when you thought Luke Knight was going to win this race, the yellow flag comes out, and we had a wreck. Well, whether she is happy about this win or not, Betty Barrett, I bet Betty Barrett's probably feeling sick to her stomach right now that she had to win this race the bad way. It's like Michael Brown lost some positions, but still a good result for him. Oh, wow. Cody Smart was collected. Oh, wow. We must have had the big one here, y'all. I'm seeing a lot of drivers out of the race. We're going to look back at a replay in just a minute. But what a pitiful way to end what was a very good race this weekend. And I bet you Betty Barrett, this is not going to feel like a victory, but for her, it is. As we come off turn number 4, Betty Barrett is going to win a very controversial Subway 400 that was not of her own doing. And that's a well-needed win for a driver who made the playoffs last season. Before we take you to your official finish results, let's jump back and look at a replay to sort out this mumbo-jumbo mess. Well, this is how it got started. It was Jerry Harvick was running in 11th right behind J TwoTwo. And it looks like something broke on the Interstate Battery Chevrolet, and Cody Smart just rammed the 18. Cody already had a bad day after, had that flat tire, had never recovered. So that's what brought out the yellow. And then and then Betty Johnson hits the 18. So that ends Betty Johnson's miserable day. Senor Sean was having a good run. Lucy Myers got a piece of it. Ponzo Albanese, who had a good run today, our pole sitter. Monica Townsend. Then it just starts stacking up from there. Margaret Jacobs runs in the back of the Budweiser Chevrolet. See, Luke Knight trying to slow down, and just rammed in the back of the 40 or 07. And then there's where the 43 got a piece of it. Who did the 43 hit? It's going to hit Monica Towns. Yep. Did some suspension damage. Unfortunately, it's going to take him out of the race. But what a shame for Luke Knight. Had a chance to get his first win on the year. Gonna end up out of this race as a result. And then everybody, wow, Betty Barrett came flying up here and just passed some of these cars that were slowing down. And who was that just ran the back of somebody? I think that was that Cody Smart? Did he run the back of another driver under the yellow flag, or no, he did not. Okay. Oh, and Barrett ran in the back of Drake Robertson. Well, I'm going to say this, folks. That has got to be the most screwed up way to end off this race. I hate to be the party pooper in that. And, well, bet you that's not going to be a fun. Bet you the Discord is going to be interesting as we're going to take you to your official finish results here at Rockingham. Well, I bet you we're going to have a fun debate on Discord on what the hell that was all about. I don't know what's worse, this finish or the one from the IndyCar series on my channel that was controversial at St. Pete. But nevertheless, Betty Barrett is going to take the victory in some controversial fashion. I don't know how. I think all those drivers just didn't slow down or slow down too much and allow Barrett to pass them. T Wright will get second. Matty Crenshaw. Max Andersen got a top 5 and fourth. Nathan Ormond, somehow, some way, he got a top 5 through dumb luck. And look who finished right behind Ormy, Courtney Lynn. Great birthday gift for her as of this recording. Todd Montgomery, well-needed run in 7th. Jay Green, Monica Towns, and Margaret Jacobs will complete the top 10. As I am just shaking my head in disgust what I just witnessed. Nothing to take away from Michael Brown, who had a very good result after starting on the back row. So he'll get driver of the day. Jacob Foster, 22nd. Should have finished inside the top 10, in my honest opinion, if that caution never came out. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, look at how many drivers did not reach the conclusion. Luke Nye, what can you say? Had a chance to win this race. 26. Huge disappointment. I highly doubt he's going to be happy about this. Drake Robertson was running second out of the race. Samantha Granger out of the race. Mia Watts was 2 laps down. Vanko Seaman, Cody Smart had a really bad day. Got involved had a flat tire, had to come to pit road, got trapped a lap down, never recovered, came home in the 31st position. Senior Sean out of the race. The good news is Sean wrecked the field. The bad news is Sean got caught up in his own carnage. Ben Erickson, I doubt there's going to be some kind words between Luke Knight and Ben Erickson, because I bet you Luke Knight went over and confronted Ben Erickson. But remember, Luke Knight did not go to the infield care center, so there could be some punishments for Luke Knight, because remember, the rule states if you are involved in an incident and you take your car back to the garage area, you have to go to the infield care center. So, I hate that for him. Senior Sean was trying to salvage what he can out of this day. Ben Erickson was 3 laps down. Everybody else out of the race. Tough break for Lucy Myers. Had a quiet run going. Jerry Harvick had a good run going. Ashley Horton got involved in an incident through no fault of her own. Betty Johnson got caught up in that first caution, never recovered, 37th. Ben Tennyson out of the race due to mechanical failure, along with Annie Thomas. Tennyson led a good part of this race. And then Brad Lewis, Ashley Wright, Ponzo Albanese out of the race in the early stages of this deal. So I can tell you this. We are going to have a really interesting debate on this race, because that is probably one of the most controversial finishes I've ever done on this channel. And not to take any away from some of these drivers right here, like Ormond and Courtney Lynn, who got good results by default, which, by the way, for Courtney Lynn, that's a well-needed bounce back after a tough day yesterday in the Busch race. But I have a good feeling we're going to have a fun debate in the Winston Cup chat in the WRA Discord, and it's not going to be a pretty one, I can tell you that for sure. So, and not only that, what did these results do to the points? Because the points got a major shaking up as far as that's concerned heading into next week at Las Vegas. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed this controversial end to what was a very good race nevertheless. Subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We show you your full finisher results. The point standings are down in the description. Boy, get ready for a debate and a half as far as in the Discord is concerned. By the way, Discord link is down in the description below. For our studio engineer, Caleb Hans, I'm Dean DeVos. Thank you for joining me and saying goodbye from Rockingham, North Carolina. Congratulations to Betty Barrett on winning the Subway 400 in very controversial fashion. Nevertheless, we'll see you guys next week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. You've been watching the World Racing Association, the greatest racing since 2013.